It seems that in the depths of political science classes, the dark corners of socialist Twitter, and your local Starbucks, you can still find people who think that raising taxes will help the government make society better. The reality is, the government has plenty of money, and the idea that feeding more money into a broken system will somehow fix the system is quite literally insane. The government is just incompetent. For a lot of people, this is pretty obvious. But if you needed any more proof from what you see on the news on a daily basis, here are 10 things the government wasted your money on in recent years. The National Institute of Health spent $1.5 million studying fat gays and lesbians. And out of all of that, they simply discovered something I could have told you for free, that lesbians are fat. The National Science Foundation, Office of Naval Research, and the U.S.-Israel Binational Science Foundation all pitched in $308,000 to teaching synchronized swimming to sea monkeys. Yep, Americans' tax dollars went to studying the swirls of sea monkeys and choreographing a team of them to do a laser-guided synchronized swim. Really groundbreaking stuff here. The Department of State spent $250,000 sending 24 Pakistani teenagers to the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville. America has millions of students struggling to attend university, and Pakistan has millions more problems on top of that. And sending a few kids on a field trip to a rocket center was apparently a priority. The National Science Foundation spent $374,000 studying seniors' dating habits at the University of Texas in Austin. I mean, it's kind of an interesting topic, but it's not the government's job to get our grandparents laid. The NIH spent $2.6 million studying a motivational phone program to help obese truckers lose weight. And that's only the amount they spent before 2011. God knows how much they've spent by now. Americans are not responsible for truckers' weight, and I sure as hell don't think the majority of them, truckers included, want their tax dollars going to motivational weight loss phone lines. $210,000 was spent on making solar-powered beer. I'm a fan of beer innovation, but this is just ridiculous. Wind power and solar panels have always been an expensive and near useless form of energy, which is why they always need to be propped up by government subsidies. The Department of Agriculture decided to fund another one of these wasteful green energy projects by handing out $200,000 to breweries to make beer while using solar panels. Now this one probably made me the most angry. $5.75 million was spent by the State Department on preserving other countries' cultures. The U.S. government seems to understand the importance of preserving culture and are happy to study and shell out millions to other nations to preserve theirs. Yet at the same time, they systematically destroy their own. Western governments just love spitting in the face of their own people. $2 million was spent on creating jazz-playing robots. Now, God knows why the Department of Defense needed to fund the creation of jazz-playing robots, but it happened. The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency gave $2 million to Kellen Thomas at the University of Arizona to build a computer system and then hook it up to robots that can play instruments. Other than the fact that music is haram to some imams, I'm not seeing the defense benefit here. $1 million was spent on determining if cheerleaders are more attractive in a group. Two researchers at the University of California decided to use their $1.1 million grant from the National Science Foundation to conduct an in-depth experiment on the cheerleader effect, a theory coined by Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother, suggesting that cheerleaders are only hot when in a group. $856,000 was spent on teaching mountain lions to walk on a treadmill. Once again, the National Science Foundation is a real winner in their research choices. They gave out nearly $1 million of taxpayers' money to see if they could get mountain lions to run on treadmills. University of California Santa Cruz researcher commented on the grant, saying, "People just didn't believe you could get a mountain lion to run on a treadmill." Totally a legitimate reason to spend $1 million in taxpayers' money. So yes, the government does have money. They are just irresponsible children with it. Imagine being in Flint, Michigan, having lead in your water, and the government saying, "Sorry bro, but we really needed to find out why lesbians are fat and get sea monkeys to do water polo before we can help you out. I bet the treadmill lions got better water than the people of Flint right now." The government is incompetent, and the larger it gets, the more incompetent it gets. And because of that, not a single person on this earth can justify higher taxes to me. What's scarier is that this is just a very small glimpse into the waste that happens every single day. The size of wasteful departments, employees, and grants is so large that it's impossible to even quantify. It should honestly be a federal offense to waste people's money like this. And for those of you who still aren't convinced and sit in the back of your poli-sci class touting on about Keynesian economics while tipping your fedora and sporting a Che Guevara shirt, I want you to think about jazz robots, treadmill lines, and fat trucker phone lines every time you try to justify this nonsense. It's waste, plain and simple. And as it expands every year, the economy has not gotten better one bit. It's not justifiable, it is an abuse of the taxpayer. Thanks for watching. Don't miss my show Standoff by clicking here to become a member.